So as we heard there, the majority caucus in Parliament will not support the minority caucus to run the vote of censure against the finance minister. Well, our correspondent Kweku Asante is standing by with some more on this particular development. Kweku, we've all heard there that the majority will not support it. What else do we know? All right, so, I mean, just a while ago, the majority side in Parliament addressed the presser, and they made it known that they are still on that decision they took, that they want the finance minister to be the one not to read the budget and to be the one not to ensure the appropriation of that budget. And they would still be on that particular position, but they would ensure that that is done on their terms. What they will not do is that they will not support the minority caucus in Parliament to, get that vote of censure through to remove the finance minister. They believe that he was doing better until the COVID and the Russia-Ukraine war. And so, though they think he has to go, they believe that the way to go about it is not what the NDC is doing at the moment. Let's take it back to Parliament and speak to our parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asante, who has more on this. Kweku, so take it over from us.
Will you get the MPP to support you?
Listen to me. If the MPP means business, if they really know that the press conference they did, it was genuine, and it is not to deceive Ghanaians. One, the speaker said Parliament has power to do a whole lot of things, not to approve certain things, certain loans, and so on and so forth. He meant Parliament, meaning Parliament means the whole MPP group plus NDC group. So if we are undertaking a program for Ghana, for Mother Ghana, and they also said, yes, they have done a press conference to that effect, then this is why it must reflect whether it was a genuine press conference or they were just to deceive Ghanaians.
Some of your MPP colleagues are now saying that your cause are not the same, and that despite they being against the finance minister, they are against your censure motion because it is based on falsehood. What do you make of that?
It clearly means that they are not serious themselves. Why? Because ultimately everybody wants the finance minister to go away. If you want to go to Kumasi, you can either go by air, you can travel through vehicle or anything. So if you want the finance minister to go out, we all have the same ultimate game. So they must follow us to do the right thing. You don't say that because we are not following you, you will not support us. Because consequently, the finance minister must go.
Right. So it is getting heated up in the House today.
Please, you see, social media, you go and you chastise MPs that they are not helping Mother Ghana. This is a clear case of how it is done. Because we know we don't have the majority. But because they came out with that press conference, we then believe that they were also championing something for Mother Ghana and not for political reasons. Are you getting me? So they should now know that the NDC, for instance, they never gave us majority to rule this nation. So, and this is the time for Ghanaians to know the difference. That NDC means well for Ghana, while their side do not mean well for Ghana. Thank you very much.
So, Honorable Gakwe, this motion is set to fail clearly.
Yeah. Oh, it's not set to fail. It's going to set a record straight. We are going to make a history today.
Right. Okay. Honorable Ato, the majority just concluded a press conference where they are saying that they although they want the finance minister out, their position isn't to follow your motion of censure. So that clearly means your vote of censure will fail.
First, it is clear that the NPP majority in Parliament are playing double standard. They have chosen their party interest over the country's interest. The people of Ghana really want the Minister of Finance go. Unfortunately, they have decided to disappoint the people of Ghana. And clearly, what they did last 2 weeks was nothing but politics. They never meant it. They were doing it to shield the vice president. They were doing it to shield the president, and they never meant it. So they know that the economic crisis that we are going through obviously is not good enough, but they are clueless. They have no solution. And obviously they don't want to create impression that their party is the one that has failed. So they are trying to say that the finance minister must go for a reason. We believe the time has come for the Ministry of Finance to have a fresh person to lead it. And obviously the chairman of the economic management team, he must also go. he must also go. So what we are starting today is not only for the finance minister to go. One, we believe the finance minister must go, the governor of the Bank of Ghana must go, the chairman of the economic management team must go, and the entire economic management team must be reconstituted.
So what will happen today? They are not clearly going to support you.
Yeah.
We have only 136 MPs.
Yes.
You need about 47 of them. They say they are not supporting you. This will fail.
Let me say that if it fails today, we are going to turn our guns on the president, because clearly the president has failed. He is the one that we all have to blame. And if obviously it's clear that he's the one who hired such an incompetent Minister of Finance who has mismanaged our lifestyle and our livelihood, then he's failing to sack the person. Then clearly it means that we should bring an impeachment proceedings against the president himself, because that is what it means. Because he's the one who is supposed to sack him. He's failing to sack him. You've employed someone who can do it, and you don't want to sack the person too. And obviously it's clear that he's the one who has failed. So probably we have to consider the impeachment proceedings.
Right. So clearly the position is now, if the NPP MPs do not support this vote of censure, then they are going to turn the guns on President Akufo-Addo and impeach him. And so it is said to be a showdown in the House today. NDC MPs have only 136 MPs. For this vote of censure to succeed, they need about 47 of their NPP colleagues to join them. Are they going to get it? You just heard from the NPP caucus, who have just said that despite wanting the finance minister out, they are not going to support the NDC position because they think it is at variance with the position that they have been canvassing. They say that the grounds for which the NDC minority want the finance minister to be sacked is based on falsehood, it is not accurate, and for that matter, they will not support it. It is still left to be seen if the vote will happen and if these MPs will partake in it. If they partake in it, it is a secret ballot. Anything can happen, as we saw in that election of Bagbin as the Speaker of Parliament. So, very interesting days in Parliament today. It is left to be seen whether or not these MPP MPs will join this cause to get a finance minister to be removed. Let's tap into Honorable Dr. Atoforsen, who is addressing the journalists today.
All right, thank you. I'm sure it's how we go. I'm clear that all of us, both sides, we want the minister to go. I'm sure that the difference is just the approach, and I'm sure if we negotiate and engage further, we can find a common path so the minister can exit. Yeah. Thank you.
So more talks expected in the House to try and see some concerns about getting both parties on the same ground. Stick with us, JoyNews. We have 24/7 coverage of these events in Parliament. It's going to be very interesting to see how both NDC and NPP MPs who have started coming in will now lead the charge to get the finance minister out. You saw the NDC MPs coming in chanting Choboy and singing war songs, clearly indicating their mood and what they want to be seen done today. So very interesting times that we're going to see in Parliament, Briggs.
So stay with us, run us through how the majority side will be in Parliament, but can still say that we're not going to take part in the vote. For people who, okay, let's go and take this conference.
Any 1 hour longer is a disaster for this country. The man is a walking disaster. And once they themselves have come to the conclusion that Kenofodata is a disaster, why will they not? This is an excellent opportunity for them to walk the talk that they told us that Kenofodata is a disaster and must go. If you have been parasiting food and they call for free food, it's like your wife has just cooked. So why now they have the free food? The opportunity for the censor is moved, and now they are running away. You know, so it is abundantly clear that they will be reneging on their responsibility. And I say that today is a historic day in Parliament. That the people will see who is truly beholden to the national interests of this country, who is truly standing up for the oppressed masses, who is truly standing up for the excruciating hardship that our people are suffering, who is trying to do something about that hardship and make sure that they terminate the man with legendary incompetence who has inflicted this massive damage on the country. Okay. Today, the good people of this country will sit down on the floor.
I've seen that today you've been very short on Proverbs. Which one comes easily to mind?
No, I've already said that the MPP has died in the market. You don't need to announce their demise. Yes. And it is clear, when the house has fallen, do you ask whether the roof is still standing? It's clear. Everything has collapsed. And I am telling you that it is when in times of crisis like this that you see the true leaders, the true champions, eloquent champions of the people who stand up for the interest. And today is becoming clear that it's us in the NDC who are standing up to fight. And that when our colleagues who we saluted when they took this decision, the president backs, they have their tail between their legs running away now. And I told them that they were holding a tiger by the tail. When you take a tiger by the tail, you never leave it. If you leave it, it will devour you.
Right. So Alhaji ABF Hussaini is the ranking member on the Communications Committee, clearly indicating his side's clearest of resolve to get the finance minister out. But they will not succeed if they don't have NPP support. They need about 47 MPP MPs to support them. Initially, it felt like it would be much easier for them to get this, but the NPP MPs now say they are not doing it. Let me run through some of the key issues they are talking about. They say despicable conflict of interest. They've been also raising concerns about allegations of fiscal recklessness, alarming incompetence, gross mismanagement, illegal payment of oil revenues, deliberate and dishonest reporting of economic data, and then alarming incompetence and frightening ineptitude. These are the 7 grounds upon which the New Patriotic Party is, the NDC I should say rather, are basing this vote of censure on today. Clearly they are not getting the support of their colleagues. Whether or not these MPP MPs will stick to their grounds when the vote is on the chamber, it will be interesting to see. Brace.
When do we expect this motion to be moved? What time exactly in the day will this happen? Kweku, if you can hear me, I'm asking for you to run us through when exactly.
On the other paper, there are a number of questions on the other paper that are expected to be asked. But normally, the way Parliament runs, it is expected that the other paper may be varied. So as soon as Speaker of Parliament enters the chamber, this other paper may be varied for this motion to be moved. So it could be any moment from now. A number of MPs are trooping into the chamber, both NPP and NDC. It is expected to be a full house today, as we have been predicting over the course of this week and the previous one. And so by 10, 10:30, 11, thereabouts, this censure motion is expected to be moved by Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu himself, as well as the Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak. After that, the debate will be moved, and then the debate will be taken. The NDC MPs will canvass their positions, for which reason they want the finance minister out. The finance minister will be expected to open up a defense. We have not seen him in the chamber yet. We don't know if he will be around to defend himself against these allegations that have been made against him by the minority. If that is done, then the vote will now be taken. We are expecting the Electoral Commission to bring in the voting booth, among other things, just like we saw in the election of the Speaker, so that MPs will be called individually to go into the booth and then vote on this very contentious matter.
All right, Kweku, I'm grateful that you could join us with the latest from there. But just before you go, have you seen Sarah Adwoa around anywhere yet?
The expectation we had was that Sarah Adwoa was to be in the house today. She is not yet here. We don't know how crucial these numbers games are. She will probably come within the day. But Sarah Adwoa is still not here, and is shaping up to be a very contentious sitting today in Parliament. But with or without Sarah Adwoa, the NPP MPs do not have anything to fear. They just have to abstain, and the vote will fail, because the NDC MPs alone, having 136 MPs, cannot censure Finance Minister Kenneth Ofori-Atta. And let me give you this piece of information, just like you heard from the NPP MPs. They are back on their demand for the Finance Minister to be removed. Indeed, early on, they had said that they were waiting for the Finance Minister to finish the IMF talks, finish presenting the 2022 budget. They say now they are back, and they are expected to hold a meeting this afternoon, after which they will declare their next course of action. The point of departure is that they are not ready to support the NDC in this vote of censure, although they still insist Finance Minister Kenneth Ofori-Atta must be sacked.
Grateful. So that's our parliamentary correspondent there, Kweku Asante.